Western weapons didn't just help Ukraine survive the Russian invasion, they gave the country something far more valuable: time. As Ukraine scrambled to convert furniture factories and car plants into arms manufacturers, 7 pivotal Western systems changed the course of the war. These weapons, shipments, and aid packages gave Ukraine the breathing space it needed to evolve from desperate defense into a strategic counteroffensive, transforming NATO's outlook from concern to cautious optimism. In the earliest days of the war, Ukraine was forced to fight with outdated Soviet-era gear, equipment from the 1970s, while Russia brought modern firepower to bear. But Western weaponry didn't just level the playing field, it tipped it entirely in Ukraine's favor. Let's explore how each system helped redefine the battlefield. First came HIMARS, the High Mobility Artillery Rocket System, which arrived in June 2022. Mounted on trucks and capable of launching GPS-guided warheads weighing 200 pounds over distances of up to 50 miles, HIMARS delivered strikes with surgical precision. Operated by just 3 soldiers who could be trained within a week, these systems changed how Ukraine conducted long-range artillery warfare. Where older Soviet howitzers were slow and inaccurate, HIMARS brought speed, precision, and survivability. Within just a few months, Ukraine had used these systems to target over 350 Russian command centers, ammo depots, and logistics hubs far from the front lines. Russia, caught off guard, struggled to adapt. Though it tried to counter with longer-range radar, its systems failed under electronic warfare and poor reliability. HIMARS allowed Ukraine to disrupt Russian supply lines with devastating efficiency. In 2024, the stakes escalated further when Ukraine received permission to use long-range NATO munitions, including HIMARS, inside Russian territory. Ukrainian strikes soon hit Russian S-300 and S-400 air defense systems in the Belgorod region. Yet HIMARS wasn't without limitations. Russian jamming efforts degraded its accuracy, increasing the margin of error from 10 feet to over 50. Worse, the US withheld many of its longer-range missiles, limiting HIMARS' full potential and allowing Russia to shift critical assets out of range. Next came Western drones, arguably the biggest innovation in Ukraine's war strategy. Though less central in the early months, drones evolved to dominate the battlefield. By mid-2025, around 70% of Russian losses were attributed to drones. The US led early drone support with the Phoenix Ghost, including the Dominator, a loitering munition with 5 hours of flight endurance, a 300-mile range, and autonomous navigation through visual landmark recognition rather than GPS. Alongside it came the Switchblade 600, a tube-launched kamikaze anti-tank drone with a range of 25 miles and a 115 mile-per-hour sprint speed. These systems gave Ukraine precise, agile strike capabilities. For reconnaissance, Western drones like the Jump 20, capable of vertical takeoff and a 115-mile range, gave Ukraine long-endurance surveillance from the skies without needing airstrips. Other additions included Black Hornet nanodrones for dismounted soldiers and the Scan Eagle ISR platform, which operated at altitudes up to 19,500 feet. These tools gave Ukraine deep visibility into enemy territory, a crucial advantage it never had with its Soviet-era arsenal. Then, in July 2024, came the F-16 Fighting Falcons. These modernized jets from Denmark and the Netherlands brought electronic countermeasures, radar jammers, and missile warning systems, instantly outclassing Russia's aging air fleet. Previously, Ukraine had relied on around 120 old Soviet aircraft, many of which were lost early in the war. In contrast, F-16s brought advanced air-to-air missile capabilities and the agility to shoot down cruise missiles mid-flight. Ukrainian pilots proved their effectiveness quickly. One even shot down 6 Russian missiles in a single mission, destroying 2 of them with the aircraft's cannon. The AIM-120 AMRAAM gave Ukraine precision at long range, and the jet's compatibility with NATO weaponry allowed allies to donate old stock for use. Ukraine's aerial upgrade continued in 2025, with France donating Mirage 2000-5 fighters, expanding operational flexibility. Yet the country still needs dozens more aircraft to cover its skies. Despite that, the F-16s marked a turning point, both tactically and symbolically. Air defense also saw a revolution with the arrival of the Patriot missile system. When Russia began launching its much-hyped Kinzhal hypersonic missiles, Patriot batteries, using hit-to-kill technology, intercepted them with ease. The PAC-3 variant offered 360-degree radar coverage and could track 100 targets simultaneously. Despite the $1.1 billion cost per battery and $4 million price per missile, these systems proved indispensable. In November 2024, a Patriot battery in Kiev intercepted a hypersonic salvo, a major milestone in modern air defense. However, missile stockpiles are limited, and larger Russian barrages still occasionally break through, especially with newer Iskander-M missiles using radar decoys and ballistic arcs. No Western weapon became more iconic than the Javelin anti-tank missile. Dubbed Saint Javelin in Ukrainian memes, this shoulder-launched fire-and-forget weapon lets soldiers strike tanks from over a mile away, using infrared guidance and dual warheads capable of piercing 31 inches of armor. Its ease of use and high accuracy, nearly 90% hit rate from early usage, made it essential. Over 10,000 Javelins have been delivered by the US, and production was doubled to meet demand. The UK's Storm Shadow cruise missile added another long-range precision tool. With a 1,000-pound warhead, stealth design, and over 150-mile range, it struck deep targets such as bunkers, command posts, and bridges. Remarkably, Ukraine only needed minor upgrades to its Su-24s to deploy them. These missiles were used to destroy strategic Russian targets in Luhansk and Zaporizhzhia and even killed a high-ranking general. Though costly and limited in supply, Storm Shadows gave Ukraine a powerful deterrent, especially after being cleared to strike inside Russia. The final piece of the puzzle came with the Bradley fighting vehicle. More than a tank substitute, the Bradley offered speed, firepower, and flexibility. Its 25mm chain gun and TOW missiles made it a threat to tanks, while its capacity to carry 6 soldiers allowed for fast troop deployment. In January 2024, 2 Ukrainian Bradleys from the 47th Brigade took out a Russian T-90M at close range using their superior optics and maneuverability. Although more than half of Ukraine's Bradleys have been damaged or lost, they've proven far more resilient than Russia's own IFVs. Russia has lost over 6,000 IFVs, including 760 BMP-3s in just 3 years, underscoring the vehicle's vulnerability in modern war. 3 years into this brutal conflict, these 7 Western systems have done more than keep Ukraine in the fight. They've tilted the strategic balance. They've shown that Western tech, used intelligently and in small numbers, can offset Russia's numerical advantage. Most of these donations were surplus, soon to be replaced or discarded. The 90 F-16s Ukraine may eventually receive are minuscule compared to the 1,600 US jets in active service. NATO's missile deliveries came from production overruns, not from frontline arsenals. But these stopgap weapons delivered the most precious thing in war, time. Time for Ukraine to ramp up domestic arms production, retrain its forces, rethink its strategy, and prepare new systems that Russia couldn't anticipate. And now, as the war drags into its 3rd year, with over 1 million Russian casualties and half of Putin's modern army in ruins, it's clear this 3-day operation has become a long, bloody nightmare for the Kremlin.